Psalms 49 and 11 says, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Giving our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakah Kodash, double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutes to all the sincere elect out there. We are coming back at you another lesson regarding we're at the door. Land backing off the video I did in the week. We're at the door, and this is how the East feel. They feel like as though their kingdom gonna stand forever. Right? And you could say the same about the Goyim nations. And the subheading here is the folly or trusting in riches. That's exactly how rich people feel. So that's exactly self-explanatory there. So why did I read that precept? This is what comes to mind. This is what the visitation. Trump came over to England, and this is the impression that he left. Wilder in midst of the dining when he was doing his speech. Check out how they're looking at him. So King Charles, and this is from the MSN News. King Charles not amused by Donald Trump. Harry snubbed during state visit. Just check out the body language there. That's King Charles on his left. I'm going to read a little bit of this and want to funnel everything through the scriptures. So Donald Trump delivered a speech. So this was last week. It says last night, state banquet, which was topped up with praise, but there was one moment the monarch may not have been happy. Says one royal expert. It appears Trump went out of his way to skip over Prince Harry in his thank you message, with royal expert Ian Fulham Turner saying it was seen as a deliberate snub, and King Charles was most likely not amused. That's why he's giving him them looks there. Mr. Pelham Turner found it intriguing that Trump heaped praise on Prince William and Princess Kate, but omitted Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, which could be seen as a sideways swipe at King's younger son. You know, we know Trump, he hasn't got no filter. He just be blurting things out. And the saga with Harry, he's seen as a rebel, which brothers be breaking things down about him. He's, they ain't got the same father anyway, but he could well be a Jake. But there's a saga taking place now. I believe Prince Harry resides in America, and he's no longer a royal. But I think they're trying to keep a lot of things, which a lot of things have leaked out, but they're trying to keep a lot of things in-house as they do. The royal family. But he doesn't help. Trump doesn't help. He just be blurting things out. Let's read on. So he saw that as a snub. King Charles sees it as a snub. Let's read on. Trump made some political remarks during his speech, which was not at all surprising because it was expected. But it wasn't known if he was going to snub Harry, and when he did, it got people's attention. He spoke to Pelham Turner right after the speech. The speech is concluded with the royal expert providing his assessment. Pelham Turner said Trump has gone off. He's gone off, they call that going off script. Has gone off message, causing a diplomatic issue during his speech, talking about his domestic politics. When he came over, he said some things, didn't he? He said some things about England. He said it was dirty. he said if there was crime, same thing he said when he was over in America, and he snubbed the mayor, um, Mayor Khan, because he has some things to say about Muslims, and he said Muslims should be shouldn't be allowed over in America, you know. And Sadiq Khan, he's backs, he's either a Muslim himself or he be backing Muslims. And he said Sadiq Khan is he's a nasty, but he just, like I say, he has no filter, so he just be blurting things out. So Fulham Turner said Trump has gone off, right, gone off script, gone off message, causing a diplomatic issue during his speech, talking about his diplomatic politics. And there was a survey how people feel about him coming over to England. There was a whole heap of protests, putting up banners they don't want him to come over. And even while he was over, they was doing surveys with people in the city, in the inner city. They done a survey. How do you feel about what he said about London? He said it was dirty. He said there's crime. They said they was offended. Once again, they said they don't want him over here, and basically, and let me carry on reading. He came over and he disrupted a lot. The title here: King Charles is not amused by Donald Trump snubbing Harry, causing division. Anyway, carry on. Let's carry on. But as the speech continued, something even bigger caused his attention. That Trump skipped over Harry, and it appeared to be intentional. He added further intrigue during his speech, where Trump heaps great praise on Prince William, saying he has a wonderful future and that Kate is wonderfully healthy. Right, there you have it. So he's talking about he goes on about the future for years to come, 250 years to come. And I was thinking about that, which I made mention of that while I read Psalms 49. The inward thoughts is that their kingdom will remain forever. And a typical existence of a kingdom is around 250 years. And he be mentioning, you know, years to come, 250 years. Prince William has a great future, and a typical kingdom, 250 years. And when you get into some of it, the existence of Babylon from around 1776 to 2026, it amounts to around about 250 years. So we know we're at the door. And even but to say that, not even Yahushua knows the day or the hour. So we ain't trying to, you know, pinpoint a day or hour. But as we know, the Most High can bring it later, which he did with the Nero Babylonians. They was given 70 years to reign, and they was cut short. They reigned for around 67 to 69 years. So they was cut short. So he can either cut short a time, a reign, as I says, 250 years from 1767. He can cut short a time or existence of a kingdom, or he can extend it. So once again, they believe their kingdom is going to reign forever, but we at the door, as we read in Psalms 49. There's the point right there. Their inward thoughts is that their houses will continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their land after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. Right? So, despite what they believe, let's get into some of this. Check certain meanings here. Let's get into this word here. Like the beast. H929. You know, life. There's a saying, lifespans of a dog, which you know is much shorter. So the lifespan of a beast is what, or an animal, domestic animal is what, from use root meaning to be mute, dumb, um, inadequate. You have it, beast cattle. It doesn't really give much here, but we know they say a lifespan of a cat, which even cats they're known for living longer than dogs. But we know all animals their lifespans are much shorter. Lifespan of a dog, was it 5, 10 years, 5 years? So, and we know 1,000 years to us is a day to the Most High. So it's much shorter. Dumb beast. And another thing, they're a lower animal, just like we're lower to the angels, we're lower to the spirit, right? Adam would have lived forever, right, if he didn't listen to his wife, right? Through her we will die, and he was given, his lifespan was given, would have been eternal, immortal, but he was given 935 years. So our lives were cut short like the beast. We became lower. We fell from grace. Is there anything else? Let me see. We fell from grace. There you have it. Don't want to make this video unnecessary long, but I want to stay on the point. So the lifespan of an animal, man, that's how we've fallen in a nutshell. Alright, and that's how this kingdom. And we know we're at the door. We will say that much. We're at the door, and he just come over. Right, just tell him to speed it up. Let's really, get your finger out. Revelation chapters 13 and 16. Get your finger out. You've got so much potential. You're being humble. You're so humble with the stiff upper lip and all your polite English. Get your finger out. Speed it up. That's what he's basically saying to him. You've got potential with the AI. You can do a lot of great things in the speech. That's what he was alluding to. They were speaking cold. And he said some things about how England, not particularly in the speech, he said some things about the mayor of London and England is dirty. He was really getting what you call that, backhanded compliments, assaulting them indirectly. Clean it up, right? Get rid of the YNs. That's a cold word. England is dirty and there's a lot of crime. Get rid of the YN. So he wants to speed up Jacob's trouble, just like he's been doing over there in Babylon. So there you have it, man. But we're going to get into this to make this makes the point too, because while they was in the midst of their pageantry, they was having their pageantry, their dining, something very similar happened back with Daniel chapters 5 with Belshazzar. Belshazzar the feast. Something very strange happened. Let me say it like that. So I'm going to read from the top. It says, Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the 1,000. Yeah, you don't have to read all of it. We're going to get to hit the bullet points. So if we jump down to let's read 13. So here we have in the midst of a feast, and they stole all the cutlery, right? This is all they're sitting and they're dining. Let me get to the point here. 13, it says, Daniel interprets handwriting on the wall. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spoke and said unto Daniel, Art thou that art Daniel, which are of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jehu? I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretation and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be the third ruler in the kingdom. And then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give the rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. We want to see if we can get to the point. And thou, king, thy most high God, in 18, gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father the kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all the peoples, nations, languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he would, he slew, and whom he would, he kept alive, and whom he would, he set up, and whom he would, he put down. Right? Talking about Nebuchadnezzar, his father. So he had a lot of authority, which when you get into the precept in Daniel's chapters 4 and 17, says that he, the Most High, is the ruler of men. He setteth up the kings, he putteth down. Right? And he's getting him to acknowledge, Daniel is getting Belshazzar to acknowledge is the Most High that put him up there. Reading on. But when his heart was lifted up, and his hands hardened, and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. Right? Hence he was changed into a beast. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointeth it over whomsoever he will. Right? And that's the point right there. Self-explanatory. He's letting you know. So you know all these things, reading on. He's saying, you know all these things, 22, and thou art his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knowest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against Yahweh thy power, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou lords, thy wives, thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver, gold, brass, iron, wood, stone, which not nor hear, nor know, and the gods in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways hast thou not glorified. So here's the point. Then was the part of the hand set from him, and this writing was written in this, and this is the writing that was given. Nemi Nemi Teki Teki. Yeah. So this reminds me of around 2000, a couple of years ago, it might have been 2019. There was toying with the CERN collider, and they said something very strange happened. All right, let me read on. Something very strange happened in 2019. This happened in the time of the rule of Belshazzar. And it gives us the interpretation. The interpretation is, this is the interpretation of the thing. Nemi, this is the interpretation of the thing. Many, Nemi, God have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. And Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance and art found wanting. There you have it, man. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. That was the writing on the wall. You heard that saying? This is the writing on the wall. Your days are numbered. This is exactly what it is. So when they was toying This happened a couple years ago. They was toying with the CERN collider, right? Something that is able to mess around with elements on left-hand side, which we know Esau's always dabbling. Something very strange happened, and they say it was very similar to this when they interpret it. It was like giving an idea that you haven't got much longer left. Writing is on the wall. So going back to the title of this video, the writing is on the wall for these devils. Despite what he said in his speech about Prince William has a wonderful future. He was talking about going into years to come, 250 years to come, which the kingdom is numbered, because the average kingdom is around 250 years. So once again, we know we're at the door. When you get into the maths of it all, we know we're at the door. We don't know when. The most I can extend, he can cut short. But the point is, this is how they feel. Back to 12 again of Psalms 49. Nevertheless, man being in honor. Let's read 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their land after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. He is like the beasts that perish. So the scriptures don't lie. Alright? Back to Daniel chapters 5:27 says, Take heed, thou art where Nemi says, God have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. 27, thou art weighed in the balance and art found wanting. So this refutes and it puts the reality check in the scriptures, as we do. We follow everything through the scriptures, right? It refutes that their kingdom ain't going to last forever, despite how they feel in their inward thoughts, right? This is just the reality of the matter. So we know we're close, man. They want to speed up things. Revelation 12:12. You know, if you have a short time, but the Most High's got their days. He's got their days numbered. Kala Yehovah, Ba'ashem Yoshai, Ba'ashem Makar Kodash. Until the next one, we out.